Neurosurgery Centers. Your vision for the future.
On World News Tonight this Friday, a man is caught trying to bring the ingredients to build a bomb across the border from Canada. The UN report, which condemns the UN and the United States for not trying to stop a genocide in Africa 5 years ago. The police drag racing with teenagers. The cops hope that in the long run, the kids win. And the president talks to us about the century, his perspective on power, cynicism, and the people.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings.
Good evening. The customs agents thought the man arriving from Canada was unusually nervous, and that was just the beginning. He just arrived in Port Angeles, Washington, from British Columbia, and he had a reservation at a hotel in Seattle. ABC's John Miller takes it from there.
This is the man the FBI says was caught trying to enter the country with a large cache of bomb-making materials. He said his name was Benny Norris, but the FBI says his real name is Ahmed Rasim. He is a 32-year-old Algerian. U.S. customs agents stopped the man in a rented car coming off the Port Angeles ferry from Canada. But as soon as customs agents began to search his car, they say the driver ran. He was captured, but agents say when they searched the car, they found 118 pounds of urea, a chemical found in bombs, and 2 jars of nitroglycerin liquid, an explosive, and 4 Casio watches connected to circuit boards with 9-volt battery connectors. FBI agents and explosives experts told ABC News that these devices are TPUs, or timing power units, sophisticated detonators they have seen in terrorist attacks around the world, but rarely in the U.S. The man charged today had been staying at this Vancouver hotel with another man who is currently being sought by the FBI and Canadian police for questioning. The man already in custody had reservations to go to this Seattle hotel. Terrorist experts say this capture may confirm their fears that Americans may be targeted on U.S. soil around the new year.
The millennium itself has no magical meaning. It is simply an opportunity.
This arrest comes in a week where there have been more than a dozen arrests in Jordan and in Pakistan of men allegedly connected to terrorist plots against the U.S., and amid fears that terrorist leaders like Osama bin Laden may be planning an attack against Americans. Now the FBI wants to know what this man's plan was and who, if anyone, he was working for. John Miller, ABC News, New York.
In Florida today, the FBI arrested 18-year-old Michael Campbell and charged him with sending the threatening internet message that closed down Columbine High School in Colorado yesterday. Campbell faces a maximum of 5 years in prison and a $250,000 fine. In the jail in St. Martinville, Louisiana today, 2 Cuban prisoners have surrendered and 4 hostages have been released, but the warden, his deputy, and 5 inmates are still being held. Last night, the warden was heard on the jail's public address system speaking out against the U.S. immigration policy that put the Cubans in his jail. It is possible the statement was coerced by his captors, but there are certainly others not under any pressure who think that the policy deserves criticism, because there are thousands of such people in detention indefinitely, and most of them are Cuban. ABC's Ron Claiborne reports from Miami.
They are prisoners without hope.
There's no light at the end of the tunnel. They feel like they're buried alive, and there's no other way to describe that.
The detainees are illegal immigrants or resident aliens who committed felonies in the U.S. After they have served their jail sentences here, they are supposed to be deported to their native countries. But 3,500 of them from Cuba, Vietnam, Laos, and Cambodia remain behind bars. Those countries will not take them back because they are criminals. So U.S. authorities take them from prison to an immigration detention facility, another prison, often for years. Immigration officials defend the policy as necessary to keep potentially dangerous people off American streets.
It's our belief that they would pose a serious threat. Many of the individuals that we have in custody have committed serious felonies and offenses.
The detainees are eligible for release if they can prove they are not dangerous. But those decisions are made by INS officials, not in a court of law, and few win freedom. Even though many were in the U.S. legally, the Supreme Court has ruled that they do not have the same constitutional rights as citizens, so it is not against the law to hold them without charges.
There is legal fictions that they're not really here, and they're called excludables.
But they are here in growing numbers, becoming angry and frustrated as they languish in jail cells for years, with no relief in sight from the courts, the Congress, or the administration. Ron Claiborne, ABC News, Miami.
At the United Nations today, the Security Council approved a resolution that could return weapons inspectors to Iraq after a year's absence, and the resolution offers to suspend economic sanctions if the Iraqis cooperate. Russia, France, and China abstained. There was a report published today which blames the United Nations and the United States for failing to stop the slaughter that consumed Rwanda in 1994. At least 800,000 people died. The report, which the United Nations commissioned, finds that world leaders either missed signals or ignored them. Here's ABC's John Cochran.
Rwanda will be remembered for one of the great tragedies of this century, and today's report is scathing in its condemnation of the UN.
When it became clear that violence was escalating, rather than increasing our troop deployment, the Security Council drew it down.
The report also accuses the United States of a failure to act. When the slaughter in Rwanda began, the president said he was shocked, but then he emphasized only the danger to American civilians there.
I want to mention it only because there are a sizable number of Americans there, and it is a very tense situation.
After Americans were airlifted out of Rwanda, the U.S. opposed sending in a large peacekeeping force. American officials also refused to call what was happening genocide, because under international law, that would have required President Clinton to act. The Clinton administration did not want to get involved because 6 months earlier, it had suffered humiliation and the loss of 18 American soldiers in Somalia. Many people believe there is another reason, that American and UN officials were more concerned about stopping the genocide of white Europeans in the Balkans than blacks in Africa.
Race, in my opinion, has a very significant part to do with what happened in Rwanda and the difference of what happens as we've seen recently in Europe.
During a trip to Africa last year, President Clinton apologized to Rwandans. The president told them, "We can learn from the past," but he said, "We cannot change the past." John Cochran, ABC News, the White House.
In Russia today, voting has begun in elections for Russia's parliament. These are pictures from Siberia, close to Alaska. Russia's electorate stretches over 11 time zones. ABC's Clay Scott reports from Moscow tonight on what looks to an outsider like one of the great embarrassments to any electoral process.
This man was arrested on charges he ordered 4 murders in St. Petersburg. Now he's running for parliament from his jail cell. This is the alleged leader of Russia's largest criminal organization. He spent 2 years in a Swiss prison. He's back in Russia, and he wants a seat in the parliament, too. Getting elected to Russia's parliament is a ticket to power, influence, prestige, and if you're a criminal, it's a ticket to freedom. Russia's constitution says no member of parliament may be prosecuted while in office. It's a law intended to keep parliament politically independent. Instead, it has made politics a refuge for criminals. Federal police say more than 100 candidates in this weekend's elections have been the subject of criminal investigations. The number may be much higher. Alexander Gurov fought organized crime as a police investigator. When he saw criminals he knew running for parliament, he was so angry he decided to run himself. He's campaigning to do away with the immunity law. If there were no such law, he says, a lot of candidates wouldn't even bother running. They're trying to protect their illegal money, make even more while they're at it. Money is what gives some alleged criminals a distinct advantage in winning votes.
People say, I don't care if he has a criminal record, but he takes care of me, unlike the government.
And in Russia these days, it doesn't matter who you are. If you can take care of voters, you'll probably win. Clay Scott, ABC News, Moscow.
One last item of international news. In Venezuela, officials now say that 200 people are dead and 1,500 are still missing after flooding and mudslides there this week in the capital, Caracas. torrents of water in the streets. The mud has buried cars and many homes. They expect the rains to continue for days. When we come back, the unseemly side of college football. This time, it's Notre Dame. And racing to reduce accidents on the road. The police have figured out a fast way.
This is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings. Brought to you by Bayer.
All right, kid. Here we go. 10-9. What do you got? What do you got? Yeah. All right, come on, come on.
What would you do if someone you loved had a heart attack?
Yeah.
Did you know it's now been proven that the same Bayer aspirin you have in your bag for muscle aches may actually help stop you from dying if you take it during a heart attack?
Downtown. Lucky shot.
Can your pain reliever do that? Talk to your doctor now.
Next time I'll go easier on you.
Bayer. Powerful pain relief and so much more.
Nobody does it like you.
Wind Tunnel by Hoover is here. It's breakthrough technology. Tests show it picks up more dirt than any other clean air upright.
Nobody
Wind Tunnel by Hoover.
does it like you.
Today we step on the gas in a brand new vehicle with 0 miles on the clock and over 200 years of experience behind the wheel. ExxonMobil.
Did you see this? That's very interesting.
Yeah, look at that one.
Mm-hmm. Looks good.
What about that one?
That's a good one.
So, what do you think?
Let's eat them.
Hershey's Pot of Gold. Not a bad one in the box.
Boy, the things we don't think about when we're young. I'm Peggy Fleming, and now that I'm older and wiser, I think about the brittle bones that I could get if I wasn't taking a calcium supplement. So I take Oscal every day. Only Oscal's been proven effective in more clinical studies and comes from a natural calcium source and has been recommended by more doctors than Caltrate and Citracal combined. If you're getting older, get wiser too. Don't take chances, take Oscal.
What's the secret to great tasting Alfredo sauce? It starts from scratch. Classico introduces new creamy Alfredo sauce, inspired by the made-from-scratch recipes of Rome. New Classico Alfredo. Made-from-scratch taste makes it Classico.
In the words of the university president, this is not a good day for Notre Dame. For the first time in its history, the school's football team has been placed on probation by the National Collegiate Athletic Association. Here's ABC's Dean Reynolds.
It's the kind of unseemly scandal that happens in other places, but was unthinkable here in this shrine to Rockne and Gipp, the Four Horsemen, and Joe Montana.
He's dropping back. He looks toward the end zone.
Its golden reputation now tarnished, Notre Dame says it's embarrassed and troubled.
We believe that it's a sign that we've not been as effective as educators as we need to be.
Notre Dame got into trouble because an official football booster club member lavished gifts and expensive trips on several players from 1995 to 1998. Because a university tutor helped another player cheat his way through a course. And among other violations, because so little was done by Notre Dame to stop it for so long.
Now he breaks in the clear. The 2-year probation may shame Notre Dame's football program, but it will hardly slow it down. The team can still play in postseason bowl games, and its multi-million-dollar contract with NBC is unaffected.
I think those folks at Notre Dame today have to be heaving enormous sighs of relief.
But for the Fighting Irish and their fans, the stiffest penalty may be having to acknowledge that they now seem no better than anyone else. Dean Reynolds, ABC News, Chicago.
On the money tonight, the Italian government has fined the Coca-Cola Company more than $16 million for abusing its dominant position in the Italian market. Coke's had a bad year. The Italian government says the company offered discounts to stores in exchange for stores agreeing to display fewer cans of Pepsi. And in China, Microsoft has lost a suit against a firm that Microsoft accused of pirating software. The court ordered Microsoft to pay the trial costs, about $60. There was the heaviest volume ever on the New York Stock Exchange today. 1,347,000,000 shares were traded. The Dow Jones Industrial Average is up about 12.5 points to close at 11,257. On the NASDAQ, stocks were up 38 points. Just ahead, Bill Clinton on power, cynicism, and the people.
It's time. Time for your heartburn to kick in because your heartburn relief gave out. It happens 2 or more days a week, even though you've treated it and changed your diet. That frequent, persistent heartburn may be due to acid reflux disease, potentially serious.
It's Prilosec time. Time to see your doctor about prescription Prilosec. Your results may vary, but for many people, Prilosec provides 24 hours of complete heartburn relief with 1 daily dose. Ask your doctor for more information about Prilosec and if it's right for you. The most common side effects are headache, diarrhea, and abdominal pain. 24 hours of complete heartburn relief is possible. It's Prilosec time.
A significant discovery in eye health may be lutein, a nutrient found in these healthy foods. Now Centrum has the only leading multivitamins with lutein to help maintain your precious sight. Centrum Silver, now more complete with lutein.
I went on chemo at the time my oldest daughter was getting married. We had planned everything, the fabric, the design, the whole gown. But when it was time to sew the dress, the chemo, it makes you weak. My whole life I've made clothes for other people, but for my own daughter's wedding, I was too tired to make the dress.
Are you a chemotherapy patient? Ask your doctor about Procrit. Procrit is a natural way to regain red blood cells lost during chemotherapy, and more red blood cells can mean more strength. Procrit is safe and effective. In studies, only diarrhea and edema occurred more often with Procrit than placebo. Procrit is for patients with non-myeloid cancers. Call now and learn how Procrit can help you get back the strength you need. Your strength for living.
In life, you take the bitter with sweet, but I plan to end up with more sweet.
This afternoon, we were reading the last speech that President McKinley, the century's first president, gave before he was assassinated in 1901. He was telling his audience then that America was in a state of unexampled prosperity, and that as the nations of the world came closer together, there was less occasion for misunderstanding. Well, right on one point, wrong on the other. We're almost at the end of the bloodiest century. America is in a state of unexampled prosperity. Yesterday at the White House, we had a conversation with the last man to serve in the White House this century. He is accused of contributing to the cynicism about politics. Tonight, the president.
When I leave the White House, I will be more idealistic about the American people and the American system of government than I was when I showed up here. And I think cynicism is a cop-out and a refuge now. I think skepticism is good. I think demythologizing is good. I think cynicism, because it's fundamentally a negative and self-defeating emotion and it gives you an excuse not to think, is stupid.
I don't mean to belabor the point, nor will I. But I think many Americans believe that you contributed to cynicism about politics, and I assume if there's anything you could take back over the last several years, it would be the Lewinsky affair.
Why should you be cynical if someone makes a mistake, and they say they make a mistake, and they do their best to atone for it? Then you can say, well, people aren't perfect, and I'm disappointed. But that shouldn't make you cynical about the American political system, the American system of government.
I'd just like to pick a couple things that the century will always be remembered for and get your take on. What did the Berlin Wall mean to you?
It was the symbol of what was wrong with communism. It was about control and keeping people back and keeping people in.
Freedom has many difficulties.
You know, John Kennedy had that wonderful line in his speech, freedom has many difficulties, and our democracy is far from perfect, but we never had to put up a wall to keep our people in.
And what difference did the atomic bomb make?
It reminded us that we have the capacity to destroy ourselves completely, and it humbled people. And I think that's very important, because people with power, and I include myself, you give anybody a lot of power, and if they're not careful, they will make arrogant decisions, unheedful of the most fundamental desire of people to have life and liberty and to enjoy the blessings of normal life. We will look back at the development of the atomic bomb in some ways as one of the most humbling events in all of human history, because we finally had to come face to face with the fact that we could take it all away. You know, beyond the gas chambers, beyond the pogroms, beyond the killing fields of the Somme and the Marne in World War I, you could actually make it all go away. And I think it sobered the world up in a way that was oddly reassuring.
This room, sir, this fireplace and others in the White House obviously remind me of President Roosevelt. His relationship with the public was of such a magnitude that people, in many cases, thought he was a god, placed absolute faith in him. Do you think there'll ever be a time when another American president gets that kind of commitment?
If the country is under that kind of threat. It was in this room that President Roosevelt gave his fireside chats.
We are now in this war. We are all in it.
And keep in mind, he took our nation through two huge threats. First, the Depression, where 25% of our people were out of work for the only time in our history. And second, in the Second World War, with Hitler and the Axis powers. I think the people of this country they nearly always get it right. They have enough information and enough time. They're very hard to stampede, and I think they would follow a good leader in a tough time like that.
The last president of this century. The history of the presidencies, everybody knows, is one of triumph and of tragedy, and it's all on our website, thecentury.com. Just ahead, our final segment this evening. Hope you stay with us.
To find the perfect gift for the barbecue lover in your life, at Gifts.com, we test all kinds of gift ideas.
You got your ribeye steak, T-bone steak, corn-fed steak. Excellent gift. You got your cube steak? It's a bad gift. We don't do cube steak.
So when you're looking for just the right gift, come to Gifts.com. Tell us about the people you're shopping for, and we'll tell you about some great gifts. Gifts.com, just the perfect gifts. Register now at Gifts.com and get $10 off your next purchase of $50 or more.
I was miserable. My antacid didn't do the whole job. Then I tried Alka-Seltzer.
Only Alka-Seltzer relieves heartburn and pain and has the effervescent power to speed relief.
It made a believer out of me.
Get better relief. Get Alka-Seltzer.
You are in the fight of your life. Just you against your smoking addiction, one-on-one. Trouble is, it's not a fair fight, and few people win it. But you can give yourself a fighting chance to win with Zyban. Zyban doesn't work for everyone. Zyban is part of a comprehensive program from your doctor to help you stop smoking. It's different from nicotine replacements. Zyban is the only prescription medicine that's nicotine-free, so you don't have to stop smoking all at once. As Zyban reduces your cravings, you feel like smoking less and less until you're ready to stop completely because you're ready to win. You should know there is a risk of seizure associated with Zyban. To reduce the risk, don't take Zyban if you have or have had a seizure or eating disorder, or if you take Wellbutrin. Don't take Zyban if you use an MAO inhibitor. Side effects may include dry mouth and difficulty sleeping. Ask your doctor if Zyban is right for you, because it can help you quit smoking by making it a fight you can win. Zyban, you don't have to quit all at once.
Why do I have Aflac insurance on top of my regular health insurance? Because he has his mother's eyes. Because I still have to teach him to whistle. And because Aflac helps cover what other insurance doesn't. If I'm injured, Aflac even provides cash to help pay bills. So why do I have Aflac? Did I mention he has his mother's eyes? Aflac supplemental insurance. Without it, no insurance is complete.
I may look young, but I still suffer from hot flashes. I discovered a natural way to deal with it. New Healthy Woman from the makers of Monistat. Healthy Woman's a soy menopause supplement that helps relieve hot flashes in a natural way. New Healthy Woman.
The GMC Convoy 2000 is here. Trucks with capabilities that will change the way you look at the road. Professional-grade pickups, SUVs, and family vans designed better than they need to be. Like the 2000 GMC Sierra Extended Cab with the most powerful standard V8 in its class. Get up to $1,587 average finance savings with 3.9% APR on select 2000 Sierra models. GMC. Do one thing, do it well.
Tonight, for the first time, Stevie Wonder talks about the headlines and the operation that might give him the gift of sight.
I feel if God wants me to see, if it is His will, it will happen.
A Barbara Walters exclusive on 2020 tonight.
Coming up next on Channel 2 News, was a terrorist plot planned for the Northwest. U.S. Customs officials arrest a man for smuggling explosives. And rescued from their roof, hear from victims of the latest landslide. I'm Kathy Marshall. News of the Northwest is next.
Just a brief review of the main story tonight. A man was caught entering the United States from Canada with ingredients to build a bomb. He had 4 timers, liquid nitroglycerin, and other explosive chemicals. He is reportedly Algerian, and he reportedly had hotel reservations in Seattle. It's all attracting a lot of attention from the FBI. Finally, this evening, cops and teenagers, not what you'd call a natural fit in many cases, but every so often we hear about a particularly imaginative effort by the police to bridge the gap in order to make the point that teenagers are not immortal. Tonight is an example in Northern California. ABC's Judy Muller on going hood to hood with the heat.
Sometimes police work can be a real drag. From the school of, if you can't beat 'em, join 'em, cops in Sonoma County are challenging teenagers to drag races in a program called Beat the Heat. It's a challenge few dragsters can resist.
You get to race a police officer. You always wonder on the street how fast they are.
They meet at the Sears Point racetrack, where dragsters can show their stuff in a safe environment. The police initiated the program 3 years ago to reduce the number of accidents caused by kids racing each other on public streets.
If you can make it out tonight, it's great. The track opens at 3.
The police recruit their opponents at local high schools, but it's at the track where barriers are broken. Comparing engines.
Where's your car at? That Camaro? What motor does it have in it? 350 with a little blower.
Comparing times for the quarter mile.
I go in the high 13s, about 99 miles an hour.
We've gone from 0 to 60 in a quarter mile.
Paul Acanero likes to race with his police dog at his side. But whatever the variables, cops and kids get caught up in the moment. The kids regularly beat the heat, and the cops are not above making excuses.
Had to run lights and sirens, you know, and that pulls from the energy of the engine, so therefore it slows me down a little bit.
But one-upmanship can lead to friendship.
I won.
Paul, you lost. You won.
And more important, to fewer fatalities.
You can come out here and race against a police officer, get a T-shirt, and go home at the end of the night.
Which certainly beats not going home at all. Judy Muller, ABC News, Sonoma County, California.
That is our report on World News Tonight. Later this evening on Nightline, the Gore-Bradley Town Meeting in New Hampshire. I'm Peter Jennings. We hope you have a good weekend. Good night.
Sunday, a This Week exclusive. Barbara and Laura Bush. One husband called it home, the other wants to. Now, for the first time, they sit down together with Cokie Roberts to talk about religion, politics, and their Georges. This week, Sunday. And Wednesday, Al Gore face-to-face with voters in a live Good Morning America town meeting Wednesday. This has been a presentation of ABC News. More Americans get their news from ABC News than from any